You can argue all day long that Mike Tyson could take a punch better than so-and-so. You with me?
Yep.
But if you can document it, that's where the rubber meets the road. And you don't have to be a scientist to appreciate how this works. Some of the toughest guys on the planet don't have a ton of muscle on them. Okay. Look at some of these Navy SEALs, right?
Yep.
We had a former Navy SEAL on the other day. Yeah, he's well built and he's physical and all that kind of stuff, right? But he's one of the toughest guys you've ever met in your life. And to be honest with you, he didn't seem to me to be all that stacked. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you're way more yoked than he ever dreamed of being. Does that make sense? So
no, and just to that, I got this running joke, right? Especially when you talk about MMA fighters now. Back in the day, you got a guys down there having a bar fight or whatever. You look at a smaller guy, and you're like, oh, that guy can't fight, but you don't know that guy packs a punch like a heavyweight, and
they're scrappy, dude. They're
100%.
And when you're talking about extreme fighting, you're talking about grappling, you're talking about jiu-jitsu, you're talking about judo, you're talking about all these different moves. I mean, some of these guys are like snakes, man. They can flat out get a hold of you with their legs, get a hold of you with their arms and grapple you, right? And put you in a hold and you're done.
Yep.
You're done. Okay. And I know, to me, I just think that's the coolest thing because it's not about what size you are. It's about how flippin' tough you can be, right? And how almost stealthy you can be in terms of what you can grab and how you can. And does that make sense? So it's not the biggest, it's not the biggest guy walking around with all these muscles and that kind of thing necessarily. It could be the guy that you overlook. And that's where I think the magic is in what you're doing with this live feedback. Okay. Because people are going to have a chance to juxtapose what this guy looks like versus this guy in terms of the data. Does that make sense?
100%. And so that's one thing we're trying to create, right? We want that. We want to, when you start talking about data and getting accurate data. So, right, we knew that the data wasn't going to be as accurate the first time we did it out. We already planned that. We wanted to see what we can pull from there, right? We wanted to see what kind of data collect, what does it look like? Were there any blank spots? Did the signal work? Was it the motion cameras that was up top? Did it sync right? I mean, so it was really dialed in, and now that we know what we have,
right?
It's endless.